guys all ready?
As soon as we turn the mics on, we are. Anybody else off?
Yeah. You guys ready? Everyone hear me? Chief of Police, Florida Atlantic University Chief of Police Charles Lowe will make a brief statement and then take a few questions.
At approximately 1 p.m. today, we received a call about robbery that had occurred in the Arts and Letters building. The alleged robber was armed with a handgun. We dispatched officers immediately, started the process of issuing an alert to the campus, and we also coordinated with the Boca Raton PD, who sent a number of officers and resources to assist us. And then we initiated a closure of the campus. We also disseminated a description of the suspect and to everyone through our alert system. And then we commenced a search of the campus, went building by building, floor by floor, and through all the parking lots. We did that in conjunction, again, with Boca Raton PD, who lent us a great deal of assistance. And after we were unable to locate the suspect on the campus, the decision was made to reopen the campus and allow folks to move about. And with that, if you have any specific questions.
Chief, where do you go from here?
We still have an open, ongoing investigation, and there's several leads that we're following. So I don't want to make any comments that would impede that investigation.
Do you believe the suspect was a student or someone who was not supposed to be on campus?
I really don't want to comment on that at the moment. Again, we have a number of leads that we're following, and I just don't want to prejudice the investigation.
What can you tell us about the actual armed robbery? Where was the student? What exactly happened?
Absolutely. Again, the suspect presented a handgun and pointed it at the student's head.
In front of him? He was facing the student?
I can't answer that question specifically. I'd have to defer to the investigators on that. I just know that he produced a handgun, pointed it at the student's head, and then proceeded to take several possessions from that student.
Was it a female student, male student?
It was a male student.
Is there any idea that whether or not this is domestic, they know each other or anything?
We have no indication of that.
Do we know what was taken?
I really don't want to talk about that at the moment because that's kind of pertinent to the investigation. So we'll just kind of hold that at the moment.
Where did this take place? In a classroom setting?
Absolutely. It happened in the Arts and Letters building, and there are practice rooms in there, which are, they're smaller rooms and they're a little bit isolated, and that's the purpose of them, for practice. My understanding is that the initial confrontation was in the hallway and then moved into one of the practice rooms.
There are a lot of students whose nerves are rattled right now. What do you want to say to the student body?
Well, we're going to continue to give them information, and they need to know that, there's a lot of resources have been brought to bear on this particular issue. I think they can see that the alerts went out very quickly, and I think everyone can also see just how many resources were brought to bear. I can't begin to thank the City of Boca Raton Police Department, Chief Dan Alexander, enough for all of the resources they brought to bear, and those are still there if we need them. And in fact, the students should know that we do have an active investigation, and we do have a number of leads that we're following.
It takes a bit for a person to make it to that particular structure. So, is it too much to think that this is someone who actually attends the school? Because for a person to walk from off campus and to make it that far down, and then to be able to commit that crime and then be able to abscond, that's a lot of work for just an armed robbery.
I have to tell you, though, it's an open campus, and we have people who come in and out of the campus on a regular basis. And some of them are here for nefarious purposes. They do come into the center of campus. There's nowhere on this campus really that you can't get to pretty quickly, which is, indicated by the response time for our folks. So I don't think that that's a fair assessment. And again, I really don't want to comment on any potential suspect at this point.
I know you can't be specific about what was taken, but in terms of what they got away with, was it valuable, multiple items, or in terms of a dollar amount?
Yeah, it were valuable items that were taken, but again, I don't really want to comment on the specifics. There were a few items.
If it was an iPad or an iPhone or both?
I'm not going to make any comment on what it was.
Well, can you comment on this? Can you tell us about your assessment of everybody else? You have your particular duties, and from what you're telling me, they sound as if they went without a hitch. Your people were able to get together a mass and then do what you needed to do. What about the school itself and its response? The teachers, the students, what's your assessment of how they responded, they reacted, and how did it go?
Well, I think that assessment is still ongoing. We always do a debrief after a major incident, but when we sent out the instructions to shelter in place and lock doors, I think widely we saw that occurring. There were still people moving about that maybe they didn't get the information or didn't take it seriously. But I think overall the campus reacted well. But again, that's an ongoing assessment.
Chief, final question. What kind of comfort do you give students and faculty here on campus knowing that this person, the suspect, is still at large?
Absolutely. Well, the first thing is, again, we did a thorough search of the building and parking lots looking for the person that met that description and could not locate him. And we do have a number of leads which we're following at this point. Again, I just don't want to comment on specifics of the investigation.
Thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Chief,